What if I told you there's a number so dangerous it's actually banned in some countries? A number that can bring down encryption systems, compromise digital security, and potentially unlock secrets hidden deep within the internet. This isn't a myth or conspiracy theory. It's a very real number, and depending on where you live, possessing or sharing it could get you into legal trouble. But how can a simple number, a mathematical concept, be illegal? Today, we're diving into one of the weirdest digital mysteries of all time, the number that broke the internet and the reason it still terrifies governments. Stick around until the end because this story gets really strange. In 2001, a strange sequence of numbers quietly surfaced online. To the average person, it seemed meaningless, just a long, random string of digits, cold, impersonal, easy to ignore. But to those who understood what it represented, it was like discovering a skeleton key. This wasn't just a number, it was the number, a 140-digit hexadecimal code capable of unlocking something billions of dollars were spent to keep secure. It was a decryption key for the CSS system, or content scramble system, the encryption used to protect DVDs from unauthorized access. With this number in hand, anyone could bypass that system entirely. Suddenly, DVDs, those shiny new discs you had to pay for, were vulnerable. People could rip, copy, and distribute them freely. Studios had lost control over their product, and worse, over how people consumed it. At first, only a few tech-savvy users noticed, but as word spread, the number was reposted, shared, embedded in songs, printed on t-shirts. It went viral before going viral was even a thing. The entertainment industry panicked. To them, this wasn't just about piracy, it was about power. A number had become dangerous, a symbol of defiance, a legal time bomb, and the more they tried to erase it, the more unstoppable it became. When the number was first posted online, studios and copyright organizations, especially the MPA, immediately went into crisis mode. They saw it not just as a breach of security, but as an existential threat. If this number spread, control over digital media would vanish. So they did what they knew best, lawyer up and clamp down. They began issuing aggressive takedown notices to anyone who hosted or shared the number. Websites were sued, forums were shut down, entire communities went dark overnight. But instead of stopping the spread, their actions backfired. The number became a symbol, an act of rebellion, and the internet responded in the only way it knows how, with chaos, creativity and memes. Hackers tattooed it on their skin. Artists turned it into techno beats. Coders embedded it in code, in digital paintings, in glitch art. Some turned the number into a hex-color gradient. Others printed it on t-shirts, stickers, and mugs. One person even engraved it on the back of a custom iPod, just to make a point. The harder they tried to censor it, the more immortal it became. It was unstoppable, spreading faster than any lawsuit could reach. And somewhere along the way, it earned a new title, the first illegal number in digital history. But that raised a question that no one really knew how to answer. Why is that even possible? How can a number, just a string of digits with no words, no images, no intent, be classified as illegal content? Where is the line between math and crime? And if a number can be illegal, what else can be? This sparked a massive legal debate. In the United States, freedom of speech is protected under the First Amendment. Can the government ban a number if it's being used as a form of protest? As speech. The courts didn't quite agree, because while speech is protected, circumvention tools are not. And this number wasn't just a protest, it was a tool, a very effective one. This wasn't the only time something like this happened. Similar encryption breaking numbers popped up over the years, from Blu-ray protection keys to DRM cracks. Each time, the internet responded the same way, with memes, protests, and digital graffiti. But it raised a terrifying question. If numbers can be illegal, what else can? In theory, every digital file, whether it's a photo, a movie, a password file, or even top-secret government intel, is nothing more than a sequence of binary code. Just 1S and 0S, arranged in the right order. Which means if you treat each of those sequences as just a number, then every file becomes a number, a really, really big number. So somewhere, buried in the infinite ocean of mathematical possibilities, there exists a number that can represent any file imaginable. A number that is a movie. A number that is an image. A number that is the launch codes to a nuclear missile. If such data were ever digitized and compressed, this concept isn't just science fiction. There's a real idea in computer science called the Library of Babel for data, named after Jorge Luis Borges' fictional library that contains every book that could ever exist, just by rearranging letters randomly. Apply that to binary, and you get something wild. Somewhere out there, there's a number that is your face, another that is your home address, another that, when processed correctly, generates classified government documents, all just by being a number. So what happens if someone stumbles upon one of those numbers? What if they publish it? Would that number be banned too? Would just knowing it be considered a crime? That's when the story leaves the territory of copyright and enters something much deeper: philosophy, law, and raw power. Because now the question isn't just, what can you do with a number? It's, who gets to decide which numbers you're allowed to see? And what if that decision has nothing to do with safety, and everything to do with control? Now here's where it gets even weirder, and a little scary. In countries like Germany, France, and China, laws around encryption, cybersecurity, and digital secrecy are taken incredibly seriously. Not just serious as in, don't download movies, serious as in you could be fined, prosecuted, or even imprisoned just for sharing the wrong string of digits online. In some cases, even talking about numbers that can be used to decrypt protected data, like that infamous 140-digit code, can bring legal consequences. And this goes way beyond piracy, because encryption isn't just about movies. It's the backbone of online banking, military communication, activist organizing, journalism, and every private conversation you've ever had on your phone. Encryption means freedom, but it also means power. So a number that can break encryption isn't just a tech curiosity, it's a tool of sabotage. It's a weapon. And in many countries, weapons, even digital ones, are tightly regulated, controlled, or outright banned. Some online forums in Europe began automatically censoring certain posts if they included banned or risky encryption numbers, even if no laws were broken, just to play it safe. On social media, entire accounts were shadow banned, locked, or deleted for posting something as simple as a string of digits. And this wasn't some rogue conspiracy theory. It happened quietly, under the radar, with posts vanishing and users wondering how a number got them in trouble. This is the part where it starts to feel like a sci-fi dystopia. Imagine being punished not for hacking, not for stealing, but for typing a number, for knowing something. When knowledge itself is dangerous, what else becomes illegal? What else gets erased? You might think this is ancient history, just another quirky legend from the early internet, back when forums had names like Slashdot, and YouTube barely existed. But it's not. That number, the one that cracked DVD encryption, it was just the beginning. Because today, the digital world runs on encryption. Every message you send on Signal, every email through ProtonMail, every login to your bank, your social media, your doctor's portal, they all rely on mathematical systems built on giant numbers. These numbers are randomly generated, impossible to guess, in theory. But if one of them can be guessed, generated, stolen, or even reverse engineered, the entire system unravels. Your private conversations, gone. Your financial data, exposed. Your identity, your medical history, your photos, your work, compromised. And this isn't just paranoia. There's a global, silent arms race happening right now, between companies, hackers, and governments, to either protect those encryption numbers, or break them. Because the first to break them gets access to everything, and just over the horizon looms something that could flip the entire game board: quantum computing. Unlike traditional computers, quantum machines process information in fundamentally different ways, allowing them to solve complex problems, like factoring huge numbers, millions of times faster than today's tech. Which means, in a not-so-distant future, all the encryption we trust right now, RSA, AES, ECC, could become completely obsolete. Suddenly, those once secure numbers we rely on, there'll be vulnerabilities, and new numbers will rise in their place. Numbers even more powerful, even more dangerous. The kind of numbers that, once leaked, can't be recalled. Once they're out, they spread like fire. Because unlike weapons, unlike secrets, you can't destroy a number. Not really. You can ban it. You can censor it. But once someone knows it, once it's stored, copied, whispered, scribbled down, it lives forever. And there's no going back. So is this the most dangerous number in the world? Maybe. Or maybe the real danger isn't in the number itself, but in what it represents. A string of digits that challenged billion-dollar industries, that caused lawsuits, that triggered international censorship, that people were literally afraid to speak aloud, all because it was a key made of math. And that's what's truly wild, because it shows us that even something as cold, rational, and objective as numbers, just pure mathematics, can be turned into something controversial, political, feared. That just a number can become a weapon, a crime, a piece of forbidden knowledge. It makes you wonder, how much of our digital world is held together by fragile rules? How much do we rely on the assumption that these systems are safe, unbreakable, untouchable? But what if they're not? What if the next dangerous number is already out there, sitting in some forum, lost in a GitHub repo, or quietly passing from hard drive to hard drive? What if someone's already found the number that breaks encryption, bypasses your phone lock, or decrypts classified government files? Would it be banned? Would it be erased? Or would it be too late? The truth is, the digital world we built, this giant invisible infrastructure we depend on, might be a lot more fragile, vulnerable, and weird than we think. So if you made it this far, I'd love to hear what you think. Have you ever come across a banned number? Do you believe a number can ever truly be illegal? Or is that just a reflection of the systems that fear it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you want to see more deep dives like this one, into the strange side of science, technology, history, and everything in between, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because sometimes the weirdest things aren't just real, they're right in front of us, waiting to be decoded.